Good morning, boys. Good morning. What do you think, lowrider? Can I get a touch on you? Bean says no, scratch my head instead. Guys, he did let me touch him just a second ago. That's when I realized I probably should get my phone out. Hi, lowrider. Beans, you enjoying your new buddy? Come here, big guy. That's a good boy. Aw. Beans, you're teaching him well. That's a good boy. Yeah. All right, guys. I'll be down to feed you soon, okay? Gotta take this guy on a trail walk first. They're waiting.
They are. Boy, the name Lowrider could not be more fitting.
Yeah. You guys, Beans look huge now. Looks huge now.
Well, I mean, we got a herd. Look at them too. I can tell people I got cattle.
Yeah, you can.
Bruno thinks he's a cow. He's gonna try to eat their food. Wouldn't recommend it. Hey guys, welcome back to Doss Acres. This place sure has changed a lot. Bruno, man, keep your head back, bub. He ain't had his food yet, so you know how he gets. Yeah, he seems kind of grumpy. I'm Kyle. This is Shannon. This is our glorious 20 acres. It's a cattle farm, a goat farm, a guinea farm, a cat farm, a dog farm, a human farm. No, wait, I don't think you can say that.
We're not farming humans.
We have had
cats.
the greatest weekend, guys. It's been so full, emotional high. Just so grateful for everything. My family coming out. Jay and Charlotte were even better than I expected, if I can say
They're
that.
such good people, guys.
I had high hopes. I was like, man, I really hope they're legit. They're just phenomenal people. Very genuine people. And we've been in communication with them. We do wish they lived a little closer. Jay did mention in his video that maybe one of these days we might take old Bruno on a road trip, go up there. I really want to meet their pitties.
Oh, I do too.
But now we got cattle to take care of.
Yeah, we do.
All right, buddy. Chad told me a little trick here. Bruno, man, come on. I'm gonna put your head in there. Hey, Lowrider's about your height, isn't he? Mom, could we let this one out and play with him?
Well, honey, I don't think he can come out.
Dude.
He's like, get in here and feed me.
Tell you what, Chad taught me a little trick because I told him about this. When you bring feed in, they're right here and they get rambunctious for food. And so I'm gonna try to throw some of these cubes over here away from the gate if the guy will look at them. He says, here's where you open it.
Yeah.
There's boy.
I think you want to like walk them away from the gate, like further
Come here,
down the
boys.
fence line. Go on, lowrider.
Lowrider says, I'm not real familiar with that. Don't touch the fence, big fella. There you go. Look down there. They're a little smarter than I gave them credit for. Be right back, buddy. Bean says it goes over here, man. We know right where this goes. Come here, Benjamin.
You're liking those cubes, aren't you?
He's so sweet once he has feed.
Yeah. Guess what? I have a story for you.
What you got?
Get in there, lowrider.
He is adorable. Can I scoot it your way just a little bit, big guy? Eat, eat. Think we can touch him yet?
Well, so here's the thing. This morning, Bruno and I were getting ready to go on our walk. We were headed up the hill, and they were just kind of out here laying down, relaxing, and I stood there and talked to him for a few minutes. That's what I do. And Beans brought Lowrider over to the fence, and I got to scratch his head.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was really, really excited.
We don't believe you. You don't have any video evidence of it?
I might have video evidence of it.
Hi, buddy. I know it.
He's like, nope, not yet.
I know it, big guy. He says, no, you smell too clean, man. Benjamin, will you show him what you do? Show him that it's okay. His neck is thickening up. I can feel it. I don't really know the rate, like how fast they grow, but it is fascinating. If you guys didn't see our last video, this is Lowrider. He was number 3 from Jay and Charlotte over at Algiere Ranch. Go check him out, subscribe, tell him we sent you. And this was actually, I didn't realize it, this was the first bull to leave their land. And I said it wrong on every video from this weekend. In my video, my parents' video, by the way, go watch theirs, Grandpa Doss Farms. We laughed through that. It was really cool to get Dad's perspective. It just...
Everybody's perspective,
Everybody's
really.
perspective.
Really
all the videos from this weekend, just go find them, watch them. It's a good time.
Chad and Ray were here. It was great.
Oh, yeah. I don't really have words to describe. I mean, it was, Jay and Charlotte, toward the end of their video, they kind of did just a, you know, and they nailed it on as far as explaining, like, it was just so cool. They are a part of the family. They're locked in now. Sneak attack. Hi, buddy. Yeah.
He's like, I'm hungry.
Get in there and eat. Yeah, that's okay. But yeah, I called these guys steers all throughout all the videos. Kept calling and saying, oh, we got our steers. We got our other steer. This guy's a bull calf. I have a bull. And to be honest, I was talking to Chad yesterday. I got to get prepared for what it takes to turn him into a steer. And y'all know what that means.
And a lot of you guys said, oh, he's a bull. You should get a heifer and you should keep him intact and you should start breeding and da-da-da-da. Guys, these are our first 2 cows. I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
Our plan is to get our feet wet a little bit and figure out what it's like growing them out and taking them to processing and doing all the things we have to do. And then we'll think about starting to breed our own herd. I guess, is that how you say that, babe?
That's how you say it. So somebody said it.
So we will get there eventually, but we're just beginning with cows, guys.
Well, here's the bottom line.
We can't push it too much.
If y'all are new here, if you just came here because Beans came here from Chad's, or number 3, Lowrider, from Jay and Charlotte, we did this with goats. So if you don't know this, we have 11 goats down there. We started with 2. And I'm not gonna say this was a mistake, but here's where the math got crazy. We left one of our first 2 intact. That was Mario. So he was our buck. And then we ended up getting 2 does and didn't know it.
Within a week.
Bluesy was already pregnant. And she was out there screaming one day. We had no idea, went running, and she's popping babies out. That was Larry and Harry. So I say that to say that Mario bred both Blue and Mama, and we had 5 goatlets. We call them goatlets. Don't correct me. I know what I'm saying. They were the cutest goatlets. They still are, but we now have 11 goats. And I'm not going to say it was unintentional. It was just kind of like we went all in. We left Mario intact. I don't want to do that with the cattle.
No, we need to be a little bit more prepared for what we're getting into.
I want to get used to what is the regular upkeep, what is, you know, what are problems you might run into, what kind of maintenance, what kind of cost we got to feed these guys.
How much hay are we going to have to pay for?
Yeah. Speaking of which, I need to get them a bale of hay.
Oh yeah.
But we're going to step into this one a little differently, use our experience from what we learned with the goats, with these guys. I can't leave them intact. Maybe my next one, maybe my 4th one, maybe my 10th one. I don't really know. We don't really know. So he's going to be a steer.
As we say every time, it's one day at a time. We literally have to take it one day at a time, one animal at a time, and figure out what it is we're doing out here.
Oh, look. Oh, look. He's not
Good job, Lowrider.
There you go, buddy. I was hoping if I push his food to him, he'd see that as like, oh, we're friends. I can trust you. It's a little higher on that end, dude. You're downhill. Here, let me help you out.
He's like dipping it.
Beans don't care. Man, this tongue is about a mile long.
Yeah, and it feels like sandpaper.
What you think, Benjamin?
Oh,
Woo!
excuse you.
My goodness, lowrider, that was a deep one.
Excuse you.
He is so
Look
cute.
at your cute little squish face, man.
I'll see if I can get Shannon to throw up a picture real quick, but Jay did send me a picture of Lowrider's dad, the bull. And let me tell you, he's an aggressive looking thing.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He is. Yeah, and because he's Dexter Aberdeen, he is not going to get real tall. As Chad was kind of explaining in our video, because this is a Dexter Longhorn, that's why he's already so tall. His legs are so long. That guy, while we're calling him Lowrider, he's going to remain nice and low to the ground, but he's going to get real thick. And he's got the cutest little food face. You're going to let us pet you, aren't you, buddy? You're going to come around to it.
I think he'll get there. Especially with Beans having, like, showing him the ropes and what it's like. I think we'll be good.
Yeah. And I got to say, guys, we are learning, and I'm happy that these are smaller steers and a bull, steer and a bull. I don't know. I'm going to say it wrong 1,000 times.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Somebody in the comments on our last video called them the Beef Brigade, and I love it.
The Beef Brigade.
So I think we're going to call them the Beef Brigade.
I like it.
Okay, now you can continue.
Thanks. Well, what I learned, you know, Mom and Dad, Grandpa Doss Farms, Grandma Doss Farms, the other way around, you know what I'm saying? They came out here, and I know how many loose rocks we've got out here. I know how uneven our terrain is from where the trees were uprooted when we cleared this and everything. And I was a little bit nervous, just because I know Beans, when he gets a lot going on, food and stuff,
up.
he gets to moving, and he'll even, you know, if you're straight on with him, it's like he's coming right at you, and you gotta watch him. So we are being very cautious, probably overly cautious, but I am testing him. Like right now, I like to walk from one side to the other because his eyes, he can only see here and here. He don't look straight ahead, but I notice how much he watches us, and especially because we don't want to get kicked. So we're kind of, see how he's shifting his body, and then I'm not gonna go between this tree and him because I've seen his ninja moves. No, maybe I can. We're good, we're good. And he's doing a lot better with that. When he first came here, he was very paranoid about it. He would turn, I mean, he was watching, kind of like he's doing now. But we're just
slowly working him down.
Yeah, it's just gonna take some time.
Hey, by the way, the guineas love it in here.
They do.
And I am so happy to see them walking around all the time.
Do you also see our amazing farm dog over there?
Oh my goodness.
I cannot brag on that guy enough, guys. That's Bruno. He's 1 year, 2 months old. He's just a puppy, but he is well ahead of his age.
He's so stinking cute.
I could brag on him all day. Even we left him on the charger. When he's napping, he's in his crate. He is crate trained, but he was charging while we were getting number 3, Lowrider, into the pen. And then finally, Jay and Charlotte, Jay's like, look, man, I wanted to meet you guys and everything, but where is Bruno? I got to meet Bruno. And Bruno came out and was so good. We just kind of stood in a circle, and he was just checking in with everybody. He was still so tired. He laid down, put his leg up on Chad's leg, and just took a nap right amongst us. Yeah. So I don't know who I'm bragging about, us or him or all the above, but he's doing great, guys. And like we mentioned, he ain't coming in this pen. There's no need for us. That is a decision we made in our training and all that. He's not coming in here. And Beans likes that, don't you, buddy? Says, I don't need a Bruno in here. Gosh, he is. I mean, I can feel. We've had him for what, about a week and a half now?
Yeah. Couldn't have anything to do with you feeding him twice a day, could it?
Well, you know, I was sticking to once a day, and then my wife just felt bad for him. He'd be mooing of an evening, and she'd just go get more feed for him. I'm like, babe, what are you doing?
You guys can see his nose growing, right? Like in the moment, you just see his nose growing.
I don't need my nose to grow anymore. It's already big enough. Benjamin.
What are you doing, big guy?
You're like Hercules. Your foot's got to go in everything you're doing. Now, I do got to say, a lot of you are going to ask this, and I'm a little bit curious about this myself. How do we know how much each of them are eating? We don't.
It's true, we don't.
And if I'm being real honest, you go watch a lot of other ranchers, farmers with way more cattle. Chad might be one. And this is what you do. So we are measuring how much is going in, and I am a little bit on the high side just to make sure that lowrider gets what he needs while he's in this developmental stage. But yeah, so far they're eating really well together, and I'm overflowing.
We're gushing, guys.
We are. I can't tell you how legit, like, it's just, I don't know. I can't put words to it, but I'm very, very happy, very pleased. It kind of feels like a graduation, you know?
Yeah. What's the next step in our farm adventure?
Oh, absolutely. He is like a mean mugger, guys. Look at that face. He's sweet so far. He's stinking adorable, but he will give you some dirty looks.
Hey, I'll take any little bit at a time that I can get, any little scratches or whatever, so.
Yeah, Chad has told me now, I think 14 times, I gotta get this thing strapped to a tree.
Yeah.
Because this thing travels. It's very light, and Bigfoot here likes to put his foot in it, as you saw just a second ago. What you think, buddy? Are you happy?
How did you get that on your face, man?
Oh, he bumped into lowrider. So as far as timing, I did talk to Chad about this yesterday. He gave me a call, made sure we weren't going crazy or that he needed to come help, and I appreciate that a lot. But lowrider, here in the next 2 weeks is what we're shooting for. We want to get the vaccines in him. We're gonna have to hit him with some ivermectin because we've got spring weather. We're now officially in spring. And he's gonna have ticks as well. So we're gonna hit him with the ivermectin, and that does more than just kill the ticks on him and stuff. But I am going to have to get, somebody snotted their food on my hand. Gross. So I'm gonna have to get some of those panels, the panels that we use for gates that I cut down to be gates, which I'm very proud of, and they're working wonderfully. I'm gonna have to get some of those, and that way we can contain these guys to administer any medication or if they have some kind of illness that we need to treat them for. But specifically for this little fella, we're gonna have to get a tag in his ear, get his vaccines, and he's gonna have to get some new jewelry between his back legs. And I get to do it. But Chad said he'd help.
Good.
Shannon said she'd do it. I said, awesome.
Yeah, I'll be there recording everything for you. That's how I help, guys. I'm just a spectator.
I think that's the day I'm bringing that guy in. He's gonna help me. He's over there sleeping on the job.
That's stinking adorable.
He's so
oh my
cute.
Gosh.
That's
I'm so proud of him for that.
Through and through. I could tell you guys stories
Oh, I'm so proud of him for that.
days about the awesomeness he does out here. Listening.
I'm awake. I'm awake.
So yeah, a little bit of maintenance to take him from lowrider the bull calf to lowrider the steer calf. Yeah, I know it. I'm sorry. I know it. Get used to my smell. Boy, he really did kind of look at me when I mentioned that, like he knows what's going on.
He mean mugged you. Well, are you boys ready for an extra bale of hay or another bale of hay?
Yeah, they've been laying in it. They've been eating on it. Oh man, they're getting along so well. My dad really, if you guys want to see a little bit more of their sparring, whenever they first came in together, Beans, of course, ran from the trailer because he was like, hey, I know what happens with that thing.
That was so funny.
And number 3, lowrider, went right over to Beans and they had it out. Playfully, I don't know, you know, it's just establishing dominance. It's them getting to know one another. So if you guys want to see a little bit more of that, I was really impressed by the footage Dad got. He was right in there. And, but the moment it was over, that was it. It was done. From then on, these two haven't been but maybe 12 to 15 feet away from each other. They just wander around together. They graze together.
They're best friends.
They're already best buds. Yep, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna go fire up the 4-wheeler and bring some hay.
Okay. He's like, Beans, is this guy okay? Is it okay if he touches me? Oh.
Or is he about to ram me?
I don't know. I like that you're ready to run though.
I'm ready. I was talking to Mom and Dad about it yesterday. I said, you know, it's a lot like cutting down a tree. And I'm very serious about this. You know, when you cut down a tree, one of the first things you got to do is plan your escape route, and it's going to be based on where it's falling. So I know, you know, I've got to go this direction. If it falls, you know, my point is you got to be very aware where you are and ready to get out of the way. Same story.
Yep.
This is like cutting down a tree. At all times when we're petting them and everything, I want it to be on your mind, babe. Which way you gotta go, where are the rocks? Because these are different animals. Our goats,
trust me, it's on my mind.
Our goats could hurt us, but it's typically just gonna be a bruise and stuff. These guys could break things, especially once they thicken up. You such a good boy.
Good job, farm dog. I'm still so surprised at their size difference. I mean, guys, he just makes Beans look so much bigger now.
Boss man Beans.
Yep.
Well, and there is 3 months between them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Beans is 8 months old. Lowrider is 5 months old.
Now, I can't speak from experience with cattle. Obviously, these are our very first two. But I'm curious to see how fast they grow.
Oh, me too.
I mean, for them to only be 3 months apart and be that different in size. Now, I'm gonna say Lowrider, I don't think he's far behind in weight compared to Beans. That dude is solid. I bet it's, I mean, if you put some long Beans legs on him, they wouldn't be too far different in size. You boys want a fresh bale of hay?
He may be a mean mugger, but it's a cute mean mug.
Oh, it is. I've already got one band off, or bale wire. Look what I got you, Betty. Whoop, sorry. These come off of there pretty hot, don't they? You gonna break it up for me? Or do I need to spread it out for you?
He's like eating underneath them.
They are, I mean, they're a
They're like
dynamic
inseparable.
duo. They are a dynamic duo.
The Beef Brigade.
Well, and I think like with Blue, our goat Blue.
Yeah, he's gonna break it up for you.
Oh boy. When we got Blue, she actually came from the auction. Chad was he went to an auction over here. He lived over here. He was on his way home. He's like, hey man, I got a few more goats than I anticipated. Showed up, we got Blue. Didn't know she was pregnant, but she was so hesitant. It took us a long time to be able to touch her. And a lot of it came, I think, the growth, after she had Larry and Harry, who she was pregnant with when she got here.
Yep, I agree with that.
She witnessed us help birth them, clean them, raise them. You know, we
care for them, love them.
Yeah, we took them away from her for a second to take them to the vet.
Yeah.
And get vaccines and everything. And so she saw us love on them, and they built trust for us very quickly. And it wasn't until that moment that then Blue really let us in and let us pet her and all that stuff. I'm feeling like we have a similar situation here. The more this guy sees us loving on Beans and Beans not reacting to it, eventually he's gonna be right there with him.
Yep.
Ain't that right, Lowrider? He says, well, you did just bring me hay. You did just bring us feed. Beans seems to be okay with you. Are you cool with this, Beans?
They're so cute next to each other.
I hate to admit how much I do this. I just sit and stare.
Hey, I hear it's totally fine.
I know. I asked Chad and Jay that. They were like, yep, that's what we do.
Last night, my dad stopped by because he wanted to meet him, and he was asking about our rocker, our glider. He's like, is it still holding up? That was a gift to us. And making sure it was still in good shape. And I said, oh yeah, Kyle and I just sit out here and watch the cows at nighttime.
Yep. And I'll tell you, Jay mentioned it. He's got talkers amongst his crew. And this little guy, Lowrider, we were trying to switch out. You know, Chad does that high-pitched call, you know, and I don't feel comfortable doing that. It's like when I went to U of A, I couldn't do the woo pig suey thing, and that's not for me. So I mooed at him. I did my move on over here. If you guys remember, there was a reel a long time ago, years ago, where I did that to the Burger Bros or the Beefy Boys, I think it was, out at Dad's place with Chad's first steers. and they came running. It worked. This guy, I hollered at him and he looked at me and just fired back every single time, about 4 times in a row. So we'll see if we can get that here in a little while.
It was pretty cute.
Yeah.
Break it up, Beans. Spread it out.
You're gonna be covered in hay.
He
Does
says,
that feel good? I'm not really sure what his end game is there. He's scratching his head on it.
I think he's got to spread it apart and find the pieces he really likes. He's like, I was saving that for later. Gosh, guys, we are just on cloud 9. I mean, we just feel so blessed. It was such a good weekend to have the entire family out, to welcome Jay and Charlotte to the family. And man, this next step in our journey is just, it's going to be a fun one.
Well, and Jay was saying at the closeout of their video, you know, and I had forgotten this. I heard it before, but I had forgotten. They're trying to build a beef business over time.
Yeah.
So he's scaling. He's planning to scale. And I just didn't realize this was the first bull to leave their farm.
Yeah.
And so when he said that, it's like, man, could you imagine, like 10 years from now, depending on how everything goes and what their plans entail and all that good stuff, could you imagine, like, we got Algiere Ranch's very first bull off their farm?
That's so cool.
We're a part of history for them.
Yeah, so when they're these big, huge ranchers and are making millions of dollars.
And all the best beef in the world.
Their first beef. Oh my gosh. We bought their first bull calf.
Yep. Yeah, I got to be honest. Charlotte took a picture while they were driving here and put it on Instagram. And it was a picture of them. And she's like, hey, headed to take our first bull calf to Doss Acres. And Chad had just texted me. He's like, hey, man, is he banded? Has he had his vaccine and stuff? I was like, yeah, I think so. Oh, he's a steer. Yeah, no, they know I can't manage that. And then we saw that post, and I was like, oh, nope, we get to full farm this thing.
It's fun.
It is very fun.
Gosh, and I have to say, we did not get enough time with them. I just could have spent so much more time visiting with them and talking to them. And I had so many questions that I still have all those questions I want to ask, but we're just going to have to get back together with them sometime. And
yeah, I think the really cool thing is, you know, when you're asked Jay, I'm like, Jay, how big do you think this bull calf's going to get? And he's like, we're going to find out, aren't we? Like, so to meet somebody that's kind of in a similar trajectory, you know, they're new to it. They've only had their cattle. They just hit the 1-year milestone. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we're obviously very new. This is my first cowboy hat, guys. This is my first one. I know everything about him now.
Doesn't he look good in it?
And I want more. I love it.
I love it. I'm going to go shopping soon, but here's the thing you have to know about me. I don't like to shop. So
I don't like it. It's just, you know, cowboy hats, you got to try them on.
So I'm going to take Kyle with me and he'll pick one out for me. He's good at that.
What's up, Benjamin? Yeah, I already know which fancy hat I want.
Do you?
I say fancy. I think you look at it 2 ways. This is like my ranching hat. This thing's going to hit the ground. I'm going to mow in it. I'm going to sweat in it. It's going to be gross. I didn't pay absurd amounts of money for it. Then you get your pretty hat. The one that you don't touch with dirty hands.
Good thing you have a birthday coming up.
I know. And I know which one I want, Benjamin. Are you okay with that, buddy? Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Gosh, what a fun experience this has been, guys.
You know, beyond just getting cattle, beyond taking our experience and journey to the next step, the sentiment behind it.
Yeah.
The story of Beans and coming from my brother and Ray, and story of Lowrider coming from Jay and Charlotte and my whole family. I was so thankful that my family was able to be here. And
it was so fun.
All got to meet. I mean, we went to Mom and Dad's yesterday to do our laundry and hang out, and I'll tell you, Jay had texted me and asked how these guys were doing. I was like, man, if I'm being honest, we're sitting here reminiscing about how the weekend's been with my folks, and just got off the phone with Chad. We were talking about it, like, just that. It's moments like that, experiences like that, that make this what it is. It's the family, it's the ties, it's the relationships, and we got 2 of the best future steers after I get my bull calf converted.
And how blessed are we that this is our everyday? You know, like, we get to do this. What's up, Bean Man?
You want the scratches, or are we too close?
So yeah, we are so blessed that this is how we get to spend our days. Like, dream come true, guys.
It really is. It's, I know, you know, I've heard Chad say it a lot in some of his videos where he just kind of steps back and he's just like, wow. But I feel that way. I feel very...
Me too.
What I did?
Dean says, thanks for my food, now get out.
Am I not welcome to be in here? You want me to take my hay back with me? Kind of rude. You know, I do want to mention, I told everybody that we tried to get Bruno to come in here, and if you watch closely our video, my dad's video, whoever's got footage of these two when they first came together, that is basically exactly what Beans was trying to do with Bruno. But that is not the same form of communication, and Bruno does not understand what he needs to do in return. A cattle dog...
he doesn't speak cow yet.
Doesn't speak it yet, but a real cattle dog would make quick action, kind of let him know like, hey, I got more skill than you, I'm faster than you. But he wasn't raised that way, and it's not something we have any need or desire to force. He's such a good boy, and like we said, he's going to be perimeter protection.
Yep.
And he takes his job very seriously. So
very seriously.
There's no benefit to force that or to work on that whatsoever. So we're going to mark that off the list. Well, I got to be honest. It's now that they're both here, yeah, I want another one, but I don't really need to work toward that right now. We're ready whenever we're ready.
I'm totally on game for another one because there's a rotation, there's a timeline. They grow out for a certain amount of time before they go to be processed. So we just have to think about that timeline and be prepared for the next one.
Yeah, but I feel like we've gotten to a point now where like I got to step back. I got to like, okay, what else? I got some chickens over at my brother's I need to get here. And a coop.
Got some work to do.
Got to build a subfloor for it. Yeah.
I have a garden to expand.
This beautiful weather and the greenery. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up yet, but the buds and the trees.
Yeah.
You can see just a green hue all across the wood line. It's coming.
It's coming. I told Kyle today, I think about a week and a half, and we're gonna see a lot of green.
I think you're right. Yeah, those oaks hold out a little bit longer, but we're gonna get there.
We'll get there. There's buds.
Well, guys, we are very blessed. We are very fortunate, and most of all, we're very grateful. Very grateful. And
we couldn't be doing this without you guys coming along on this journey with us and supporting us and encouraging us. Like, thank you.
And if you're new here,
thank you so much.
Welcome to the family.
Yeah.
That's what we are. It's what we do. It's how we roll.
Yep.
So we're gonna have some fun.
Absolutely.
As we love and appreciate you, we thank you so much for coming along on this journey with us. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye. So if you stuck around this long, I have a treat for you. Many of you know that Kyle does not like his tape measure to be touched. I don't know why, it's just a tape measure. You just measure things with it. Not that big of a deal. But he also doesn't like his spray paint to be touched. And I happen to know how to get the trees cut down that I want cut down. You just put some orange spray paint on it. So this week, I think the weather is finally gonna be conducive for cutting down trees. We'll see if Kyle notices anything. You gotta make it big enough that he notices it, and it drives him crazy enough to cut it down. Hello, garden expansion.